Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to talk about a really interesting topic. It's to do with karmic connections with other people in your life and seeing that in your astrology chart. So firstly, if you've been looking at charts for a little while, or even if you're new to looking at charts, it's really interesting when you start looking at your chart alongside a parent's chart, a child's chart, your partner's chart, someone significant in your life's chart. And what you'll find is that, this is called Synastry, and many of you know that already. But when you look at the charts, you will see that there are many placements that are close to each other, either in the same sign, opposite sign, or making a very strong contact. So, like for example, in my own family, in terms of my relationship, I've been with my partner for many years now, and we have a son together. And just one very strong thing we have lots of interconnections, but one thing that stands out very strongly is that we all have a Scorpio placement, a personal placement in each of our charts, and each placement is on the exact same degree. So, for example, I'm a Scorpio rising, my son's Scorpio moon, my partner has Mercury in Scorpio, and we all have the exact same degree, so they're all conjunct each other. And when you see something like that, it's really, telling, and it shows you that, there is a karmic connection there. What is a karmic connection? A karmic connection is basically, in my personal belief, a spiritual connection that you have, a deep connection that you have with people that you've had past life connections with, soul level connections with. So you may have had past lives together before, most likely. You may have had more than one, probably several. And, there is some kind of ongoing learning on a soul level. So, I believe that when someone is born, the time that they're born, there's some kind of predestined aspect to that. Doesn't matter what the circumstances are around their actual physical birth, whether it was a planned C-section or, they just were born early or whatever, because these things, I believe, are pre-planned and predestined. And so this also comes into questions about, perhaps, as I'm saying that, you may be thinking, do we have, how much free will do we have? How much of our lives is pre-planned? Well, based on my own research and understanding for many, many years, what I've come to sort of understand in this area, which is actually quite hard to understand, but I think, it's hard for the human mind to grasp these sort of things, is that in life, we do have, a lot of our life is predestined, but I do believe that, coming to Earth, we're engaging our free will here. That is one of the big things about incarnating on the Earth levels, that we're engaging our free will. And I do believe that even though some things are definitely pre-planned, and a lot of things can be pre-planned, the way we choose to react to them, and the way we what path we choose to take when things hit a certain turning point is definitely up to us. In terms of, there may be, say for example, in a crisis, there may be 3 or 4 or 5 different options in terms of pathways to take, or there may be, one. And again, it can depend on the individual's birth chart. So I think different individuals have different levels of free will. Some people have more free will than others, depending on past lives, soul level, karmic, experiences, and agreement that you've struck with your guides before you come into this earth. But that's kind of, a side note. But, what I want to talk about is basically the intensity of having karmic connections. And so if you look at, for example, your parents or one parent's birth chart and how it affects your own birth chart. Like for me, for example, my father is a Leo, and I have Mars in Leo. One of my other sisters has Mars in Leo, the exact same degree of me as I do. And I mean, what are the chances of that? Obviously, there's a karmic thing going on there as well. Another sister has Moon in Leo. My son has Mars in Leo. So there's a lot of the Leo connection there. There are other things as well. So have a look at your own chart and also your family's chart and see if there are certain themes. Sometimes there'll be a theme with a certain planet. So for example, I can think of another one where in a family there is a very strong Neptune theme, where each person has a very strong Neptune influence in their chart, which, the parents actually don't have. So there's something with the children having to be more compassionate, be more somehow more self-sacrificing, or, you know, all those Neptunian themes. See beyond the physical realms of life into more spiritual dimensions of life, to understand, you know, more subtle nuances of life rather than seeing things in very sort of black and white, very materialistic terms. So, you know, have a look in your own chart, your siblings' chart, or people that you're connected with, and have a look at, first of all, the synastry connections that you have with each other. Because when you have a lot of powerful synastry, so say, as an extreme example, someone's Pluto conjuncts your Mars or your Sun or your Ascendant, that's going to be a very intense karmic relationship. And, you know, it could bring up, obviously, issues to do with that are Pluto themed, to do with power struggles, control, you know, all these types of things. So basically, you know, the nature of the planet with the synastry, so the outer planet for the other person, how it contacts yours, and how your outer planet contacts their personal planets, is going to be very, very telling. So also, when you're looking at synastry, the orb is usually 0 to 3 degrees, but also extend it to 6 degrees because I find that's still relevant. But the more powerful connections are between 0 and 3 degrees, or the exact conjunction, which is 0 degrees. And, you know, you can also work out, based on looking at the synastry, what you're meant to be learning from each other. So that's also a key thing. So if there's Neptunian themes, you know, it could be about letting go of the person. It could be about over-idealizing the person. It could be about, you know, having a strong spiritual connection, but having to be more realistic about the individual. If there's Saturnian themes or Saturn themes, you know, it's going to be about working hard in that relationship. Usually there's a combination of things. Sometimes you'll have Jupiter supportive things with very difficult Saturn things, and it works, you know, this kind of alchemical kind of energy between the people. But, you know, it shows where our learning is in relationships. And when we do come to this earth, we definitely come here with a lot of lessons to learn, some more than others, with each other, with our relationships, whether it's parents, partners, people in a neighbourhood, community, teachers, anybody really, even strangers. So, you know, I think it's just fascinating to see how in astrology these connections are there. You know, you can see it with the degrees, the signs, the orbs. It's, to me, that in itself validates astrology, because if, you know, if it wasn't, if we didn't have these karmic connections that you could see with the placements, the interactions, the degrees being so close, you know, it would be meaningless. But the fact that we have these connections, and you can see it when you look at charts, individual charts, and put them together in synastry, you can see the power of astrology and the potential, what we're here to learn from each other. And anyway, have a look at your own family's charts, people that you know, if you obviously need to know the birth time, but it can be quite fascinating and quite a learning experience. It can deepen your awareness of the lessons that you've come here to learn from that person, and it can help you to see how to approach the relationship if you're having struggles in a relationship, or how to work with the energies of the relationship more effectively. So, for example, if someone in your family member has, like, their Pluto conjuncts your Mars, well, that could be quite a toxic relationship. Or Pluto contacting any personal placement, Sun, rising, Venus, Moon, Mars. So, you know, but then just say you have a Pluto conjunction and you have a lot of other supportive things. It might be more of an empowering relationship. So it really depends. You've got to factor it all in and look at it all sort of as a whole. But anyway, if you have any questions about that, about this area, please post below. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.